Meadows, this is the October 9th, 2018 City Council meeting, convening at 7:30 p.m. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Alderman Cannon?
Here.
Alderman Buttmatz?
Present.
Alderman Majikis?
Here.
Alderman Gallo?
Here.
Alderman Banger?
Here.
Alderman Diastis?
Is absent.
Okay.
tonight.
Alderman Williams?
Here. 6 present and 1 absent. We do have a quorum. Therefore, members of the audience are reminded that all these proceedings are being videotaped for current and future broadcast over the city's cable challenge network, television network. First order of business is to approve the minutes from the September 11th, 2018 revised and September 25th, 2018 City Council meetings, and minutes from the September 28th, 2018 Committee of the Whole. Is there a motion to approve the minutes? Mr. Budmatz has made that. It has been seconded. Are there any corrections, additions, or deletions to the minutes? Seeing none, the question is, shall the minutes be approved? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The minutes are approved. I need a motion to deviate for a public hearing on the library tax levy and the public hearing city tax levy. Do I have such a motion? Mr. Majikis has made that and has been seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The first public hearing is the City Council is scheduled to hold a public hearing on the library tax levy. The purpose of this hearing is to invite oral comments from interested citizens concerned about the tax levy. Let the record show that the hearing opened up at 7:32 on October 9th, 2018. Is there anyone who wishes to speak regarding the library tax levy? Is there anyone that wishes to speak regarding the library tax levy? Let the record show that the public hearing closed at 7:33 p.m. This brings us to the public hearing for the city tax levy. The City Council is scheduled to hold a public hearing on the city tax levy. The purpose of this hearing is to invite oral comments from interested citizens concerning the city tax levy. Let the record show that the public hearing opened at 7:34 p.m. Is there anyone that wishes to speak regarding the city tax levy? Is there anyone who wishes to speak regarding the city tax levy? Let the record show that the public hearing closed at 7:35 p.m. This brings us to the mayor's report. Few activities, those of you that made it to the hoedown. One of these years we're going to get the sun to shine from morning to night, but it was a grand time. There was a donut eating contest on a string, which I have to admit I lost to one of Rolling Meadows' finest police officers. So in the future I'm going to have to take some type of lessons to see how that works.
Shocking, Mayor.
I know, it's shocking. And I do thank those that showed up from the council, and Alderman Majikis, who is our liaison to that Community Events Foundation, the team, Lori Majikis, and Lori Cizak and the rest of the group. I mean, you guys are real troopers that you're out there all the time and no matter what type of weather. I did have the opportunity this week that I had signed our first gaming video license, and the Stadium restaurant, which is located on Algonquin Road just west of 53, became live with our first gaming license this Friday at noon. And they're also in the midst of a major remodeling. So we look forward to them continuing to grow forward. But I thought with this, that's our first landmark, and I thought it was appropriate to let everyone know. Are there any ward reports this evening? Mr. Gallo.
I have one. Resident sent me an email last week indicating that the intersection across from the Harris Bank and the McDonald's, the push-button indicator for pedestrians was not working on the southwest pole. And they said that they were going to bring it to Public Works' attention, and I know we're going to be doing some renovations or construction in that intersection, but in the meantime, maybe we can take a look at it and see if we can get it functioning again.
I see Mr. Bode already writing that down.
Investigate and repair.
Thank you. Are there any other ward reports? Ms. Majakis.
Thank you. I had a resident contact me regarding another resident who continually cuts his lawn and blows it into the street and the sewers. And so I just want to put an FYI out there, especially with the leaves falling now, that this is not allowed. And you could be ticketed, fined. However, I'm not
If it's
sure.
repetitive, yes.
Yes, it's repetitive. So I just want to put it out there that it is, I am aware of it, and I'll be talking to community development about it. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other ward reports? Seeing none, that moves us on. The council meeting is now open to members of the audience for 20 minutes to address the city council on matters on the agenda or regarding other issues. We ask that persons wishing to address the city council keep their comments to 5 minutes in length. Comments must be addressed to the council as a whole through the mayor, and profanity may not be used in any form. Our first signatory is Lara, and I know I will get, one of these days I'll get the last name correct.
Good evening, City Council. My name is Lara Sonoika, and tonight I will be speaking as a member of the Rolling Meadows Environmental Committee, which I'll be referring to as the RMEC. The RMEC launched a successful pilot program last month with Bike Palatine to determine the scope of a city-affiliated advocacy group for cyclists. Our preliminary findings suggest that there is a real need for in our community to promote safety for cyclists and plenty of opportunities to engage residents. We finalized a preliminary proposal for 2019 programming, which includes bi-monthly Saturday rides from April 2019 through September 2019. We have also reached out to local bike vendors to teach residents how to maintain their bikes, and we'll have equipment for purchase and provide basic repair assistance as well. So if you're interested in this project or have additional questions, please reach out to Public Works. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The next signatory is Joseph Turnage from ComEd.
Good evening, City Council. I just wanted to come out today to speak about a concern that a resident was experiencing in a particular neighborhood in Rolling Meadows. So they experienced multiple outages over the course of the last 4 to 6 months. They reached out to ComEd to address those power issues, and we've addressed them. Unfortunately, at this time, the reason for the outages are primarily due to natural causes. So, in speaking about the ones that we addressed, on May 30th, we had a feeder that locked out, and it was due to a lightning strike. On July 27th, we had another feeder that locked out, and it was due to a contractor that dug into one of our primary cables. And on August 27th, we had another lockout that was due to a metal object that landed on top of one of our power lines. And on October 6th, which was the latest outage that this customer experienced, was due to a lockout because of a tree limb that came down. And it was also hit by lightning. So just want to also talk briefly about the overall reliability in the town of Rolling Meadows. Right now, you guys are experiencing a 99.8% reliability rate. So overall, the reliability in the town is excellent. So at this time, we just have that one item that customers feel uncomfortable with. So I just wanted to come out today to address the 4 items. We're always available and open to discussing any outages that any one of the residents would like to talk about, and any of you. So if there are no questions, thank you, and we appreciate you guys having us out.
And we thank you for coming out tonight. And this next person on the sign-in is Mark Milhop.
Good evening. I'm here to talk about the fire station, the costs, and the taxes, if they're going to be raised. I've been hearing from a lot of residents that they're tired of the taxes going up because of us spending money that we don't have. And we got a grant and we threw it away years ago. And the people are just saying, well, I'm fixing what I have and I'm out of here. So we need to start thinking about the old-time residents that are here and trying to keep people in the town that are there and being more affordable for these people to stay here and bringing more in the town so people can spend money here instead of somewhere else. I mean, prices got to stop. People don't get raises that equivalent with the money we're spending and putting out. That's all I have.
Thank you. Next signatory is Dale Elling-King.
Good evening. I'm here also to talk about the tax levy and about the fire stations. First off, I want to thank Mr. Budmatz, Alderman Budmatz, for the report that he gave a couple weeks ago. He spent a lot of time finding out facts, and he read it. I don't know. I don't think all the aldermen and all their ladies were listening. As a town, we can do better. I mean, you don't go out for bids in the summertime. You go out for bids for construction in the wintertime. You go out in the springtime, most contractors have work already lined up. With that being said, all I'm being told is, oh, well, we'll just go out for bonds. We'll just go out for bonds. But that's like giving a 14-year-old a credit card without no limits. You can just go out and spend, and whatever you want, you get. Mr. Budmatz put it out on the line for everybody to hear, and I congratulate him again. I've already done it, privately. But it's got to stop. And then with the tax levy, we just, instead of being, you guys got to be good stewards with our money. And some of you are, some of you aren't. We just need to get more revenue. I don't mind spend whatever you want. Where's the money coming from? We got to promote more business. I went at the economic development meeting on last Tuesday. Got cut short because they said they had another meeting. The other meeting wasn't until 10 minutes. But I had brought up, what's our community development doing to bring more business in the town? We are getting more business in town, so we should be getting more revenue. But yet we keep going back to the residents for more money. So I don't know where it stops. I didn't get a 4.7% raise last year. I go, is 4.7 on this, on top of last year's 4.7, on top of whatever we had before that? It's got to stop somewhere. We can go out and do all the bonds we want, but wouldn't it be nice just to have extra money in reserves? I mean, I'm a longtime resident. I remember when the city didn't even have a city real estate tax. I remember when we had Mercedes-Benz garbage trucks. I mean, what happened to those years? What happened to the times? And most of all, Mr. Mayor, I'm really disappointed in you. It was such a close vote, 4-3. You had the veto power. You didn't use it. With a vote that close, we could have gone back to the drawing board, probably could have saved the city probably a couple $1 million. So I know I can't talk about any other alderman. I can only direct my concerns to you. But that's all I have to say. Thank you for your time.
And thank you for coming forward. This now brings us forward to the consent ordinances. Ordinance A. Number 18, repeal limitations on the tax levy, specify specific to the fire stations project, first reading. This ordinance, if adopted, will create an additional exemption to the city's property tax cap limitation ordinance. The passage of the ordinance, the attached ordinance, is necessary to allow the city to issue bonds in 2018 and 2019 for the reimbursement to the general fund for the costs related to the acquisition, demolition, and construction of the future fire stations located at the properties commonly known as 3201 Algonquin Road, 2320 and 2350 Hicks Road, Rolling Meadows, Illinois. Is there a motion to consider this ordinance for first reading? Mr. Cannon has made that, and it has been seconded. Is there discussion? Mr. Gallo.
I just have to voice the sentiment that I cannot stand to vote for this, as I stand with the majority of the 4th Ward in opposition to this fire station, and then move forward with the revocation of this tax levy and the limitations that were established by prior councils. So for that, I won't be voting yes on this.
Thank you. Mr. Bud Metz.
I have a question for our city attorney.
I'm sorry. But,
Is this necessary so that we can receive any kind of a bond? We have to be able to prove that we have more than the ability to charge more than 5% to receive any kind of any dollar new bond for this firehouse.
Well, I'm not sure I exactly understand the question, so let me start from the beginning. There is this self-imposed limitation, and so, I mean, if the city were to issue a general obligation bond that in essence says that the city's going to pay it, and so to that end, I mean, if somebody's going to buy the bond, they want to make sure there's no self-imposed limitations from whoever they're buying the bond from, that they want to make sure they're going to get paid. So that's the purpose for it. I mean, I don't know if anybody's going to buy a bond where somebody could say, well, you know, if I don't have the money in a given year, I'm not going to pay you.
Mr. Putmess, does that answer your question?
That's my question.
Any other discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Gallo,
No.
Banger,
Yes.
Diastis, oh, he's absent. Williams,
Yes.
Cannon,
Yes.
Budmats,
Yes.
Majikis,
Yes.
5 in favor and 1 opposed. The ordinance moves to second reading. Ordinance B, number 18, will approve the water rate increase first reading. This ordinance, if adopted, will increase water fees effective March 1st, 2019. The Utilities Fund is an enterprise fund and consists of services for water, sewer, and stormwater. It accounts for the administration, operation, and capital investment for the city's utility system. Note, capital improvements continue to be completed across the city. The Baxter-Woodman utility rate study prepared in fiscal year 2015 detailed the city's current funding increase parameters: 7% for water, 5% for sewer, and 5% for stormwater, as well other funding options. The study also recommends adopting a fund balance policy for the utilities fund at some point in time of approximately 25% of the utilities fund expenditures. The city's ad hoc committee, Capital Improvement Committee, reviewed proposed capital improvement projects outlined in fiscal year 2019 proposed budget. The City Council will be reviewing an update to the utility rate study by Baxter and Woodman at a future COW meeting. As discussed during the initial fiscal year 2019 proposed budget presentation, the city is proposing increases sufficient to produce revenue and reserves to cover the utility funds, administration, operating, JAWA, water, and capital improvements. Utility rates increases shown in the fiscal year 2019 proposed budget are 7% for water, 5% for sewer, and 5% for stormwater. As a reminder, the utility funds has IEPA loans that will be paid until 2013, one for water and one for sewer. In addition, there is one general obligation bond that matures in fiscal year 2020 for the utility funds. The current rates in 2018 are the first $15,000 gallons. Tier 1 is $11.55 per 1,000 gallons. $12.36 per 1,000 gallons for 2019, and over 15 gallons for Tier 2 is $13.20 per 1,000 gallons and $14.12 per 1,000 gallons. Is there a motion to consider this ordinance for the first reading? Mr. Baner has made that, and it has been seconded. Is there discussion? Mr. Cannon.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I was wondering if I could ask a couple questions. I was wondering if either Barry or Melissa just could give us a ballpark idea of where we're at in funding in the utility fund that we're talking about here. Can you just give us a ballpark? Are we 10% funded, 15? I know our goal is 25%. I know you don't know exact number, but just a ballpark number.
The ballpark number is we do not have a fund balance policy, Mr. Cannon, and the APWA would strive for, the Government Finance Officers Association would strive for around 25%. We're at or around that amount now to fund infrastructure. Remember that the utility rate study is being performed right now by Baxter and Woodman with the assistance of staff. And at this point, that's where we're at with an estimate right now.
Okay, I guess another question along the lines, outside of just general real estate taxes, the biggest complaint I get all the time is about the cost of our water. And every year, in recent past, we've been going up the same amount every year. Do you guys foresee a time somewhere in the near future where we won't be going up 7, 5, and 5 every year? How many years up that might be yet?
That's the reason for the utility rate study. We also understand that as well. And we are looking at that overall as the overall picture. The goal is to fund the capital, the operations, and of course that we have the amount that we have to pay for City of Chicago. Now that we have some things already decided upon with our City of Chicago rates, those are things that we're looking at overall. But the overall, we're trying to look at that and assess and ensure that rate stability over time. Yes.
Okay. Last question is, with the new line we got to put in from O'Hara to here with the toll road, is that going to have any financial impact to us in the future? How is that blended in with our rates and stuff?
So the $73 million that you're talking about that Jawa actually owes back, obviously that is already attributed to our, obviously Jawa overall, we're looking at that financing and overall. So the answer is we are attributing to that, and actually when Baxter Woodman did their study in 2015, they took that into account too.
So that's part of our rate structure right now. So
that is correct.
And how many years is that bond?
Well, we're back to the state to see if we can get better terms.
Okay. So long time.
Yeah, but at the same point in time, that goes back into using some fund balance over there too. And at this point in time, that's why Baxter and Woodman looked at some of those pieces, but also overall, Jawa continues looking at that.
Okay, and is it safe to assume we have no opportunity to tie in with Palatine or someone else to try to blend our water for a lower rate?
Not at this point in time for a discussion. We can have more of that at this point in time, but the two water commissions are talking, and we shall see what ends up.
Talk some more. Thank you for the answers.
Thank you. I will just add that being on the Jawa committee, that has been a discussion, but even trying to attempt to tie into Palatine would be a 10 to 12-year project before it would affect Rolling Meadows. So, is there any further discussion? Ms. Majakis.
Just to clarify, we're going to be, if this passes first reading, we're going to be discussing this at the CAL, though, also the utility rate update and everything, correct?
That is part of the budget discussions that we actually have set. So when we're doing the one-on-ones, we do have part of that discussion, and then obviously at the committee of the whole, it's a full fiscal year 2019, because we also have some other options to talk to the city council about the tax levy.
Okay, thank you.
Any further discussion? Mr. Gallo, sir.
You know, unfortunately, I was out of town this weekend, so I couldn't bring these questions to as many in the ward as I'd like. But yesterday, and anecdotally, I did receive quite a few of the comments that because it's good financial hygiene, they have a surplus, that we as residents are unable to go to our superiors and just ask for more money when we need it. But at the same time, if we can go to our superiors and explain how we've exhausted methods in trying to reduce operating expenses in other ways,
And in order to justify the additional needs, then it might be a little bit easier. And since I haven't been able to schedule my budget meeting until the end of this week, I will have to vote no on this first passive reading for all these going forward.
Thank you, Mr. Gallo. Any further discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Baner,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Cannon,
Yes.
Bud Matts,
Yes.
Majikis,
Yes.
Gallo.
No.
5 in favor, 1 opposed. It does move forward to second reading. This brings us to the next ordinance number 18, approve the sewer rate increase. This ordinance, if adopted, will increase sewer fees effective March 1st, 2019. The Utilities Fund is an enterprise fund that consists of services for water, sewer, and stormwater. It accounts for the administration, operation, and capital investment for the city's utility system. Note, capital improvements continue to be completed across the city. The Baxter and Woodman utility rate study prepared in fiscal year 2015 detailed the city's council current funding increases, parameters of 7% for water, 5% for sewer, and 5% for stormwater, as well as other funding options. This study also recommends adopting a fund balance policy for the utilities fund at some point in time of approximately 25% of the utilities fund's expenditures. The City Ad Hoc Capital Improvements Committee reviewed proposed capital improvement projects outlined in fiscal year 2019 proposed budget. The City Council will be reviewing an update to the city utility rate study by Baxter Woodman at a future COW meeting. As discussed during the initial fiscal year 2019 proposed budget presentation, the city is proposing increases sufficient to produce revenue and reserves to cover the utility fund's administration, operating, Jawa water, and capital improvements. Utility rates increases shown in the fiscal year 2019 proposed budget are 7% for water, 5% for sewer, and 5% for stormwater. As a reminder, the Utilities Funds has an IPA loan that will be paid until fiscal year 2033, 1 water and 1 sewer. In addition, there's 1 general obligation bond that matures in fiscal year 2020. The sewer rates are for the first 15,000 gallons, Tier 1 for 2018 are $3.45 per 1,000 gallons. The proposed rates for fiscal year 2019 are $3.62 per 1,000 gallons. Over 15,000 gallons, Tier 2 goes from $4.08 per 1,000 gallons to $4.28 per 1,000 gallons. Is there a motion to consider this ordinance for the first reading? Mr. Williams has made that, and it has been seconded. Is there discussion? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Williams,
Yes.
Cannon,
Yes.
Bud Matts,
Yes.
Majikis,
Yes.
Gallo,
No.
Baner.
Yes.
5 in favor and 1 opposed. This ordinance moves forward to second reading. This brings us to Ordinance D, approve a stormwater rate increase. This ordinance, if adopted, will increase stormwater fees effective January 1st, 2019. The Utilities Fund is an enterprise fund and consists of services for water, sewer, and stormwater. The Utilities Fund accounts for the administration, operation, and capital investment of the city's utility system. Capital improvements continue to be completed throughout the city. The Baxter and Woodman utility rate study prepared in fiscal year 2015 detailed the city's current funding increases, parameters of 7% for water, 5% for sewer, and 5% for stormwater as other funding options. The study also recommends adopting a fund balance policy for the Utilities Fund at some point in time of approximately 25% of the Utilities Fund expenditure. The city's Ad Hoc Capital Improvements Committee reviewed proposed capital improvement projects outlined in fiscal year 2019. Proposed budget. The City Council will be reviewing an update to the utility rate by Baxter and Woodman at future COW meetings. As discussed during the initial fiscal year 2019 proposed budget presentation, the city is proposing increases sufficient to produce revenue and reserves to cover the utility fund's administration, operating, Jawa Water, and capital improvements. Utility rates increased as shown in fiscal year 2019. Proposed budget are 7% for water, 5% for sewer, and 5% for stormwater. As a reminder, the Utilities Funds has an IEPA loan that will be paid until fiscal year 2013, one water and one sewer. In addition, there is one general obligation bond that matures in fiscal year 2020 for the Utilities Fund. As presented in fiscal year 2019 proposed budget, the stormwater management fee is proposed to increase 5% from $453 to $476 per unit per month, which is 23% increase per month per unit. Residents pay for 1 unit per month. Note, the stormwater rate is effective with the January 1st utility bills, is not based on service dates. Revenue from the stormwater management fee is used to maintain the city's storm sewer infrastructure, including 60 miles of underground storm sewer lines, 5 miles of open drainage ditches, 100 culverts, 3,000 catch basins, and inlet structures, 1,500 stormwater sewer manholes, 43 outfalls, 11 miles of Salt Creek stream bank, and numerous detention and retention facilities. Implement new stormwater management programs mandated by the Federal Clean Water Act, and fund capital projects such as the repair and improvement of the underground storm sewer system, stream bank stabilization, and rear yard drainage project. Is there a motion to consider this ordinance for the first reading? Mr. Cannon has made that. Is there a second? Mr. Baner has made that. Is there any discussion? Mr. Cannon.
Before we get away from this whole topic, I was wondering, after we vote on this, if I could get Public Works to comment. I forgot, last week a gentleman called me and had questions about any lead in any of our pipes. I think I know the answer, but I would like to have Fred just comment publicly so they hear about it. I should have asked it at the earlier one, but I didn't. I want to make sure it's covered.
Either ward reports or...
But that's whenever. That's fine, as long as we talk about it tonight.
Or...
We can put it into my, because the answer is...
The
I thought it was, but I just would like the public comment.
The answer is 0.
Okay.
I believe that's what I saw from the
Okay.
report. Any other discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Cannon.
Yes.
Bud Matts.
Yes.
Majikis.
Yes.
Gallo.
No.
Baner.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes. 5 in favor, 1 opposed. The ordinance moves for second reading. This brings us to motion to approve payment of bills on the warrant for 10/9/18. The warrants from October 9th, 2018 is presented by the Finance Committee. Is there a motion to approve the warrants? Mr. Baner has made that motion. Mr. Cannon has seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Bud Matts.
Yes.
Majikis.
Yes.
Gallo.
Yes.
Baner.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
And Cannon.
Yes.
6 in favor, none opposed. The warrant is approved. The next items on the agenda are the consent resolution. It consists of 5 items, F through J. Does anyone, alderman, wish to remove any items from the consent agenda for resolutions? Mr. Bud Matts.
J.
Okay. The chair then declares an order in one motion to consider 4 resolutions without debate. Is there such a motion? Mr. Baner has made that. Ms. Dykes has seconded. The question is, shall all 4 resolutions be adopted? Resolution F, number 18-R-100, is to award engineering contract for 2019 Reconstruction Street Program. The resolution, if adopted, would authorize the award of a contract for professional design engineering services for the proposed 2019 local street program. Reconstruction portion. The engineering costs associated with this portion of the street program is to be funded by the city's local road funds. The currently proposed 29 budget amount of approximately $990,000 in street improvements are inclusive of the locations as follows: Highland Drive, Arlingdale Drive, east of Quinton Road, Kevin Lane, Michael Court, Jessica Court, Prairie Drive, resurface. city engineer, Christopher B. Burke Engineering Limited, has submitted proposals for the design, engineering, and services required for the proposed improvement locations. The cost of the 2019 street program design and engineering services is $52,980. Note that the Prairie Drive, adjacent to Highland Drive, is planned for patching and resurfacing only, as its overall base condition is still appropriate for doing so. It is recommended that this be included with the pavement reconstruction contract due to the geographic proximity of the other streets. It is the recommendation of the staff to proceed with this work promptly with favorable weather in October or November. Advertisements for bids is expected to take place in February 2019 with contract award thereafter. G, Resolution number 18-R-101, authorizing the professional service of a financial advisor regarding the city's general obligation bonds. At a August 15th, 2017 Committee of the Whole meeting, staff provided a presentation on understanding bonds. At that meeting, the City Council gave direction to staff to work with the city's financial advisor on bond scenarios. As in previous bond issues, the city begins to work with professional financial advisor prior to the approval of professional services agreement. Thus, past practice was followed, and the payment for the fees will be paid from the bond proceeds. The bond issuance is moving forward, and now a resolution is required to be approved by the City Council. The documentation is reviewed as part of the bond process by the City Council, Bond Council, required for due diligence and other compliance requirements by the Municipal Securities Rulemaking Board. Approving this professional service contract with Kane McKinnon Capital Incorporated is one of the steps in the city's issuing general obligation bonds. Staff will need to go before Standard & Poor's prior to the bond sale for the credit rating review and analysis. Currently, Standard & Poor's bond rating for the city is AA+ and AA3 for Moody's, which both are considered investment-grade stable ratings. At this point in time, we believe the ratings will stay the same. Recall that the credit rating agencies are looking to be sure that the municipalities hold adequate reserves on hand in funding pension funds. The city will work as in the past with Kane McKenna Capital Incorporated, the city's professional services financial advisor on the credit rating process. All costs of bond issuance, fines, financial advisor fees, bonds, and disclosure council fees, underwriting fees, trustee fees, and escrow agent fees and other fees are paid from the bond's proceeds. Kane McKenna financial advisor fees will be paid from bond proceeds. The fee is a flat fee of $25,000 for the first general obligation bond 2018 and a flat fee of $22,500 for the subsequent general obligation bond 2019 issued by the City of Rolling Meadows. As mentioned, the bond issuance is moving forward, and now a resolution is required to be approved by the City Council. If there's any questions, please reach out to the City Manager or Financial Director on the professional services items. H, Resolution number 18-R-102, authorizing the Professional Services Bond Council regarding the city's obligation bonds. This resolution, if adopted, would approve the professional services contract with Caton Merchant Rusman LLP is one of the steps in the city's issuing general obligation bonds. The city has utilized the professional services in the past, and Attorney Louis Greenbaum has also helped the staff in the past on other projects. Staff will need to go before the Standard & Poor's prior to the board sale for a credit rating review and analysis. Currently, Standard & Poor's bond rating for the city is AA+ and AA3 for Moody's, which both are considered investment-grade stable ratings. At this point in time, we believe the rating will stay the same. Recall that the credit rating agencies are looking to be sure that the municipalities hold adequate reserves on hand and make pension payments. Bond counsel is required role in issuing bonds to provide the legal opinions on the bonds. In addition, bond counsel also serves the role of a disclosure council, whereby the bond council attends the preparation of the preliminary official statement and the official statement for the public offering. All costs of bond issues, financial advisor fees, bonds and disclosures, counsel fees, underwriting fees, trustee fees, escrow fee, agent fees, and other fees are paid from the bond's proceeds. Bond counsel fees will be paid from bond proceeds. The 2018 General Obligation Bond Series. A separate service would be presented to the City Council for approval for subsequent bond issuance, such as the 2019 bond issuance. Caton, Mutchin, and Roseman's fee for the bond counsel is $18,000, and the disclosure counsel work is $8,000. Resolution I, number 18-R-103, is to award a contract for 2018 street maintenance, pavement restoration, and seal application. The resolution, if adopted, would approve the application of the asphalt, pavement, seal product on 8 city street sections in 2018. For the past several years, the Public Works Department has secured a contract to apply reclement seal, PRA, on the section of city streets that have been resurfaced in recent years. The purpose of this project application is to restrict the penetration of water into the asphalt when entering the pavement base and subbase, especially in winter and early spring thaw cycles. The 2018 street maintenance project provides $40,000 for the services for the PRA and CRF. The proposed CRF product is to be applied to 8 street locations where the PRA was applied in 20 and 2011. This will be the 4th year that the city is using the CRF product. The 2018 proposal received from Cal LLC, North Sugar Grove, Illinois, for a product application of 14,902 square yards at a total cost of $17,882.40. A unit cost of $1.20 per square yard. Pavement rejuvenator products are not eligible for the use of state motor fuel tax funds. They are to be funded from local revenues. A listing of the street locations proposed as follows: Amanda Court, Arrowwood Lane, Buckingham Court, Castle Lane, Dove Street, Kirchhoff to Martin, Eagle Lane, Pride Court, and Windsor Court. Again, the question is, shall all 4 resolutions be adopted? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Majikis?
Yes.
Gallo?
Yes.
Baner?
Yes.
Williams?
Yes.
Cannon?
Yes.
Bud Matts?
Yes.
6 in favor and none opposed. The resolution is approved. This brings us to Resolution J, number 18-R-104, is to award a contract for professional services for the engineering and design of the proposed modifications of the HVAC control system for City Hall Phase 2. This resolution, if adopted, would authorize a contract with Clark Diaz Engineering located at 118 South Clinton Street, Suite 700, Chicago, Illinois, in the amount of $25,600 for the professional services to engineer and design the modifications for the Phase 2 of the equipment and controls of the City Hall Police Station HVAC systems. The existing HVAC system was installed in 1987 as part of the building renovation. Over the course of 30 years, several changes have taken place within the building, inclusive of the building wall installations, causing the HVAC system to create less than ideal conditions for heating, cooling, and humidity control. Several of the workspaces have limited or no control of the heating or cooling, and each year staff receives more and more complaints of too hot or too cold conditions. The project has been identified in a 5-year capital improvement plan. On October 27, 2015, the City Council authorized professional services to evaluate the current system and problems and prepare a preliminary design report. City Council then authorized hiring an engineer in March 2016 to design the modifications and prepare the necessary documents for bidding of the project to modify the controls and components of the system. The project was bid in September 2016, but only one bid was received and was rejected due to the excessive cost proposed. Staff worked with engineers to identify the most critical components of the system to address, and the project scope was reworked and broken out into 2 phases. Phase 1 of the project, which primarily addressed the controls for the cooling portion of the systems, and then a bid in November 2016. 5 bids were received after a review by the project engineer. A contract for the project was awarded to Amber Mechanical Contractors from Alsip, Illinois, in the amount of $598,000, Phase 1. During the course of the project construction in 2017, several other problems were discovered that have prevented the cooling system from functioning properly. Staff worked with the contractor and engineer to find interim solutions to the problems, but we were unable to resolve some of the problems due to the estimated cost and having to shut down the system during the cooling season. Staff has discussed with the engineers to emphasize the need to be thorough in the next phase of design and to avoid unforeseen issues as best possible. The second phase of the project is proposed for fiscal year 2019, and the additional repairs were not pursued in 2017 and will be incorporated in Phase 2. Funding for this project construction is identified in the Capital Projects of Fund 33 in the fiscal year 2019 proposed operating budget. Funding for engineering and design services is included within the fiscal year budget Fund number 33, $25,000 item line. Do I have a motion to move forward? Mr. Banger has made that. Do I have a second? Ms. Majakis, thank you. Mr. Budmatz, you are the gentleman who pulled this.
In the past 5 years, we've already paid $102,000 to Clark Dietz for engineering or for oversight of this project as it occurred. We've already paid over $650,000 in repairs for the system to date. There's a budget for $350,000 more in repairs for next year, or in the proposed budget, which means we'll be spending well over $1 million plus $100,000, $125,000 at least with Clark Dietz. The part where they say that the staff wanted to stress to Clark Dietz or the engineer that they would find all of the problems and solve them all with this second phase cannot be underemphasized. I want to make sure that when we do this project, we make sure that Clark Dietz really has errors and omissions insurance, and we expect them to follow through and not to have any omissions or errors in their engineering. We expect them to do it right for $125,000, and for $1 million to get the project fixed. It's a small building. To spend $1 million for HVAC is a lot of money.
Thank you, Mr. Budmatz. Is there any other discussion? Mr. Cannon.
Kind of go along with Mr. Budmatz's thinking. I was just wondering, do we have a lock on the engineering fee where they can't come back to us and ask for any more money even? Because the last time, I know the project didn't go as well as they had planned the first time, and we spent a lot of money, like Mr. Budmatz said. To my knowledge, not many of the employees are happy with the current system.
Mr. Vogt.
The services proposed are what they will be compensated for as they provide those services. I've long learned not to anticipate or promise that there won't be anything unusual found in this building given all of the remodelings, but anything that is above and beyond what is proposed for council to consider for approval tonight would have to come back as a change order to the engineering services, much the same as any construction. If we get into problems again, we certainly don't anticipate that. We had our share of problems in 2017. We think we've got a good handle on the system, but I certainly can't make promises. We'll do the best we can based on the information that we've got now and what we gained in 2017, but they would have to come back if there was any change of scope, to be specific to your question.
But I guess where I'm coming, Mr. Vogt, is I completely appreciate your position that you don't know if they can run into problems, but since we've spent so much money on this system and given these guys so much money, I would hope they have their head in every duct work that we have here, so there shouldn't be any problems. I mean, I can't understand how we paid this much money and we're still debating whether we might find all the problems or not. It's just, I'm not an engineering guy, I'm not a heating and air conditioning guy, but I mean, when we spend this kind of money on the size of a building, this thing should be locked down really tight. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Mr. Cannon. Any further discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Gallo.
Yes.
Banger.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Cannon.
Yes.
Budmats,
Yes.
Majikis.
Yes.
6 in favor, none opposed. This resolution does move forward. This now brings us to other business and reports. I have no mayor appointments, no proclamations. City clerk report.
Yes. I want to go over the consolidated election for April 2nd, 2019. Circulating nomination petitions for independent candidates is currently open in the state of Illinois, and information and forms are available on the Cook County website. Along with the mayor, the aldermen are to be elected for wards 1, 2, 3, 5, and 7 in this consolidated election. The filing period for nomination petitions for independent candidates is December 10th, 2018 at 8 a.m. to December 17th, 2018, no later than 5 p.m. Each candidate must file the following with the city clerk, deputy city clerk's office. Number 1, original nominating petition sheets. Number 2, statement of candidacy. This must accompany the nomination papers. And number 3, receipt for filing a statement of economic interest with the Cook County clerk. Any candidates received from the Cook County clerk evidencing filing of the candidate's statement of economic interest with the county clerk must be filed with the city clerk, deputy city clerk, no later than 5 p.m. on Monday, December 17th, 2018, and a loyalty oath. Of course, this is optional. Again, all the items I just mentioned are available through the Cook County website. Following rules on the required number of signatures of qualified voters, registered voters, to nominating petitions, the following was calculated from the last election. Minimum and maximum number of nomination petition signatures for each office is as follows. Mayor, not less than 114 nor more than 182. Ward 1, not less than 12 nor more than 62. Ward 2, not less than 18 nor more than 68. Ward 3, not less than 11 nor more than 61. Ward 5, not less than 3 nor more than 53. Ward 7, not less than 5 nor more than 55. In regards to ballot positions, this will be determined by the time of filing nominating petitions on the first day of filing. Persons in line at the opening hour of city clerk, deputy city clerk office, and mail from the mail delivery are deemed filed simultaneously and will require a lottery. The lottery will be held within 9 days following the last day for petition filing, which is December 26, 2018. 7 days notice of the lottery is required. In regards to objections, candidate nomination papers may be challenged by filing of a written objection, an original and 1 copy, within 5 business days after the last day of filing nomination papers, which is December 24th, 2018. Finally, all candidates must comply with the Illinois Campaign Financing Act. And again, this information is not inclusive of all election issues, but is intended as a guide for those seeking elective office.
Thank you. This brings us to the city staff reports, community items of interest. Mr. Comstock.
Thank you, Mayor. Obviously, we have what you mentioned before. We do want to thank all the residents, volunteers, and friends of Rolling Meadows who participated in the annual Hometown Hoedown and Fall Fest that was conducted on Saturday, October 6th. Obviously, we had sunshine, we had rain, we had drizzle, we had dampness, but we had a good showing, maybe about 450 to 500 people throughout the day. So it was a good showing, and again, we do thank all the volunteers. Dave Whitney sitting over here, and Alderman Majikis is sitting up over there with all the extra stuff that happened. We do want to thank everybody also who attended the Public Works Document and Electronic Recycling event that was also held on Saturday, October 6th. We conducted that inside the Public Works building this year because of the concern of rain, and other than a manager who was walking on a slippery floor, everything else worked perfectly fine. On Saturday, October 13th, this Saturday coming up, the fire department will be conducting an open house from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Newkirch Fire Station at 2455 Plum Grove Road. There is food available while supplies last. And again, we do want to remind people it is Fire Prevention Week going on at this point in time. A comprehensive plan open house is scheduled for Thursday, October 25th from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Right here in the council chambers. You can still visit www.planforrollingmeadows.org to take the survey and learn more. And then Wednesday, October 31st is Halloween trick-or-treat hours, and for the city of Rolling Meadows, it is from 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. And if your child collects a treat that you have a concern about, we will have the usual big can outside set that you can actually put the disposal in there, and it will be in front of City Hall. Monday, November 5th is early refuse setup begins, so please place all refuse to the curb no earlier than 3 p.m. the day prior to pickup. And as Alderman Majikis mentioned, with leaves falling, just a friendly reminder to residents, please do not dump them or blow them down the street or down our sewers. Have you seen the October electronic news and views, or what we call affectionately the e-news and views? If not, please visit www.cityrm.org. Click on News and View tab. This is a sister publication of the printed newsletter that comes out 6 times a year. Some of the October topics include Kirchhoff Road resurfacing, which has been mentioned a little bit today, but that will happen in 2019. The duck race recap, monthly calendar of events, police K-9 unit earning a bronze at the K-9 Olympics, fire safety and fire department open house, filing deadlines that were actually mentioned for the April 2019 election, solicitors required to register with City Hall. You do need a city-issued ID card promoting resident safety and school zone safety. I do want to mention that we do have some flyers here on the council chambers and also on the first floor that the Thanksgiving food drive, that's a bag, a holiday meal, and the Rolling Meadows Rotary and the high school are conducting this for the 25th annual time. We do have, obviously, flyers that are out in Monday, November 5th to Friday, November 5th. You can actually drop off different locations. This does help All Saints Lutheran Church Food Pantry. And again, we do have flyers throughout the area. And also what Alderman Cannon mentioned, I think your residents referring down to Springfield, there was a lot of discussion about a legislation that did not pass at this point in time about dealing with lead pipes. So for the city of Rolling Meadows, our own system, we can only talk about that, actually sits about at 0 lead pipes. But that's why they were talking about that in Springfield. So there are municipalities that would have a big concern about redoing their pipage. But that is what I can give you, that we do have 0 at that point.
Thank you. That moves us, Mr. Vogt, the 2018-19 senior snowplow.
Thank you, Mayor. As we do every year in September, October, to bring to the City Council's attention that we intend to sponsor, administer the senior snow removal program this time of year with Council's authorization or a lack of objection to it. We would start sending out letters to the previous seniors that used these services the previous year. Last year there was about 60 people that used it. Nothing really is proposed to change for 2019 in terms of cost, in terms of the contractors utilized, the contractors themselves utilized. Fortunately, last winter we only had 4 events, so for the $20,000 budget that we have provided, we only spent $8,200 last year, but that's always dependent on the winter and the nature of the snowfall. So we, without objection, would start the solicitation for that program and do the appropriate administration to get the contractors in line for snow season.
Thank you. That brings us to bonds for Melissa Gallagher, the next step.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Within the council packet itself, there is a staff report. It's a very brief staff report that I'll just review quickly. And there's also an attachment that's been prepared by the financial advisor and also bond counsel as far as the timeline. The staff report covers a couple items. Basically, at the September 11th, 2018 City Council meeting, City Council approved the contract for the construction of fire station number 15 at 3201 Algonquin Road. And what we've been doing over the last year is reviewing bond scenarios with City Council and with the public. And prior to these discussions, we are now going forward with scenarios. The project plan at this point in time will include one series of general obligation bonds in 2018 with a second series to follow in 2019. The reason for that is there's savings when you keep the bond issuance under $10 million, and so that would be considered a bank-qualified general obligation bond issuance. At the October 23rd Committee of the Whole meeting, we're going to be updating the timeline and providing another update just to keep everyone informed as to the process. Staff has initiated some preliminary dialogue with the Bond Counsel and Financial Advisor with the approval of the professional services tonight. And with the interest rate environment as it stands right now, the timing is excellent. Our credit rating is excellent to move ahead. And we're just providing a quick, brief update at this point in time with the timeline included in the packet. That's all I have.
Thank you, Ms. Gallagher. That brings us to the comprehensive plan update to Martha Corner.
Thank you, Mayor. Tosca Associates, based in Evanston, has been retained to conduct an update to the Rolling Meadows Comprehensive Plan, which was last done in 2006, as well as an update to the zoning code. A draft comprehensive plan update is scheduled for completion during December 2018, with City Council adoption of the updated plan during January 2019. Zoning code update efforts will be pursued thereafter during 2019. The comprehensive plan website, which City Manager Barry Crumstock mentioned, is www.planforrollingmeadows.org. It is now live and can be accessed through the city website. It covers the process of the comprehensive plan, public meeting scheduling, as well as access to an online survey, which is open to all resident participation as well as members of the business community. There are also hard copies of the the community survey available at the Senior Center, the library, as well as City Hall. We welcome, again, all to participate in this community engagement effort. There have been some meetings taking place during the past few months, including 2 meetings of the Planning and Zoning Commission in conjunction with the Ad Hoc Comprehensive Plan Committee, as well as smaller group meetings focusing on quality of life and commercial real estate and business in the city. Upcoming meetings of importance include the Comprehensive Plan Open House, which is open to the public. It's a workshop format on Tuesday, October 16th, as well as, October 25th, which is a Tuesday. And the next Planning and Zoning Commission meeting is tentatively scheduled for Tuesday, October 30th. Those are very important efforts as it regards community engagement in the comprehensive plan formulation. And, ongoing marketing to make this known to the public includes the electronic message board, the city website, and residents receiving finance billings during the month of November will receive a buck slip with more information on the comprehensive plan. Most importantly, we'd like to thank the residents, members of the business community, and public officials who have taken valuable time to help us with our comprehensive plan efforts. Thank you.
Thank you. That moves it to city webpage for public access to the Fire Station 15 progress. Chief?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. So in concert with R.C. Wegman, Healy Bender, and the Fire Department, we felt the need to share the progress of the fire station project at 3201 Algonquin Road. So with the marketing specialist assigned to the City of Rolling Meadows from Wegman, they've helped us develop a large soft vinyl sign that is a rendering is provided in your packet. It'll go on the front of that site and be affixed there for the duration of the project. It has a rendering of the fire station and just says coming fall of 2019, Rolling Meadows Fire Station number 15. We've also developed or are looking to tell you that on the city's website, goes hand in glove with everything that's happened prior to my talk right now, is there will be on our front page a banner that will say under construction, which will be specific to Fire Station 15. We'll have some quick, simple notes and the progress. We will have a photo gallery, and that will be tied to the specific tab on the Fire Department web tab on the web page. IT Director Justin Chippetta will run the front page, and our Logistics Coordinator Lisa Norton will handle all the back end of on our Fire Department site. So the photo gallery will be updated on at least a monthly basis, or whenever there are any other significant physical changes to the site. One note of today was the actual building permit was issued for the footings and foundation, which will be starting tomorrow and moving forward from that point. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. That brings us to the October 16th Committee of the Whole, which, from what I see, Mr. Comstock, we should bring water sandwiches and a sleeping bag.
Well, we're trying not to make it that bad. Obviously, what you have before you is the October 16th Committee of the Whole. Harper College will be here talking about their referendum. We've tried telling them to keep it reasonable, 15 minutes or so. Please ask your questions. Remember, this is something that is on the November election cycle. We will also have a discussion about 5540 Meadowbrook 6B request. This was discussed at the Economic Development Committee. And then obviously the fiscal year 2019 budget for the library, fiscal year 2019 budget for the city. We'll have another bond update. The vacant city property 2400 West Algonquin Road will be there. And then there will be a discussion about Sunset Brook View sanitary sewer extension discussion. It's been some time since we have had that, so we need to have that. And then utility rate study update, we'll try keeping that very short, or we'll pull that depending on how the write-ups go. But at this point in time, we have 8 items for this October list, and that's even with moving some other items to the November one already. So that is the committee of the whole.
Thank you. Other matters not on the agenda this evening? Seeing none, is there a motion to adjourn? Mr. Dykes has made that. Mr. Cannon has seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We're done. Thank you.